Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Keep those questions and suggestions coming. I get to them as soon as I can. Now, you may or may not have heard about this, but on March 21st, the following message was posted on the gear page. Today my FR12 arrived. Now I am wondering if output 1 and 2 have different loudness or if something is wrong with my Tone Master Pro. Connected to output 1, the FR12 is significantly louder than when I connect the same TRS cable to output 2. Both outputs are set to line level mono. The global EQ is disabled and the master is linked to both outs 1 and 2 to set a balanced loudness. Can someone confirm that output 1 and 2 have different loud output signals or not, or am I still missing a setup option somewhere? I and some others asked him about his mixer and output settings. His response was, yes, they are set to the same level. The peaks in the mixer are identical for both outputs. Both I/O and EQ, which is disabled, are the same. The level meters peak exactly the same. See my screenshots. I checked different cables and removed all other cables not necessary for the test. The effect becomes more noticeable at higher volumes, or preset volume at 100%. Especially for heavy high-gain tones, the difference is huge. I tested it with one of the factory presets to check if it is related to my patches. He also posted this. I did some additional tests with my USB interface monitoring the Tone Master Pro output signal. I used a reamped test riff to make sure the signal is exactly identical. Besides switching the outputs, all other settings, interface, Tone Master Pro and cables, are exactly the same. As shown in the pictures, output 1 peaks at around -5, while output 2 peaks around -15. In the Tone Master Pro mixer section, the peaks for both outputs 1 and 2 are identical. Am I missing something, or is there something wrong? Now, before we go any further, I just wanted to point out that what he says. Output 1 peaks at -5, while output 2 peaks around -15. Keep that in mind for what comes up later. That's a difference of around 10 dB. One person responded with, hi, I don't know how the FR12 behaves and your exact setup, but could it be that output 2 is taken as a non-balanced type? Non-balanced signals provide less actual volume than balanced ones, but in the Tone Master Pro the level would be the same. Well, okay, by now I was curious. I checked the manual to see what it said about output 2, but all I got was dual assignable 1/4-inch stereo outputs for connecting to external sound reinforcement and recording equipment, independent of output 1. On the other hand, here's what the manual says about output 1. 2 balanced XLR outputs and 2 balanced 1/4-inch line outputs for connecting to external sound reinforcement and recording equipment. I'm guessing that output 2 is unbalanced because output 1 is specifically mentioned as being balanced. Sometimes you just gotta read between the lines, you know what I mean? Going forward with that assumption, it was time to see what I could find out about volume, unbalanced outs, and balanced outs. I checked my output settings, and both output 1 and output 2 are set to line. The other option available is instrument. Well, what's the difference? Guitar Center says this. Line level generally refers to a signal strength between +4 dB and -10 dB. Most professional level audio gear is designed to work with this level of signal for both the input and the output. Instrument level is a much weaker signal at about -30 dB. Okay, so we know that both outputs are sending line level, but are they sending the same line level? MOTU, or Mark of the Unicorn, a maker of audio interfaces, posted this in a tech note. What is the difference between balanced or unbalanced? Balanced audio uses 3 conductors to carry the audio signal. 2 of the conductors carry negative and positive signals, and the third is used for grounding. With an unbalanced signal, there are only 2 conductors. One carries positive, the other carries negative, and is also used for ground. The advantage of a balanced signal is that because the ground is separate from the negative conductor, there is less chance that radio frequency interference will get into the audio signal. Generally, +4 dB balanced signal is the way to go for long cable runs. The high gain and isolated ground make for a cleaner, noise-free signal. If cable runs are shorter, there should be no problem with radio frequency interference or noise on unbalanced -10 dB signals. And Boxcast, a streaming company, has this to say. Because balanced signals send two in-phase signals, they're also louder, roughly 6 to 10 dB, than what unbalanced signals can provide. I can tell you from past experience that a plus 4 dB signal is much hotter than a minus 10 dB signal. I don't have the gear to measure the output signal from the Tone Master Pro, but I'm guessing that if I did, I'd find a plus 4 dB signal coming from output 1 and a minus 10 dB signal coming from output 2. But I can still do a simple test using the Tone Master Pro, my recording interface, and Logic Pro, my digital audio workstation, or DAW. First, I'll set the master volume control on the Tone Master Pro to 80% for both outputs. Second, my PreSonus 1810C interface has 4 combi mic/line inputs, and I'll set all 4 levels straight up and then connect the cables between the Tone Master Pro and the PreSonus. I'll use XLR cables for output 1, and I'll use 1/4-inch cables for output 2. Third, I'll create a project in Logic Pro with 2 stereo tracks. Output 1 will go to inputs 1 and 2, and output 2 will go to inputs 3 and 4. Fourth, I'll record some riffs, and then we'll see if we can see and hear the difference between the 2 outputs. So what I did, guys, was I recorded maybe not quite a minute's worth of riffs, and what I'm going to do now is play it back. But what I want you to do is take a look at output 2 and see how weak the left signal is on output 2. Output 1 has 2 strong signals. Output 2, it's a little bit different. And then I will mute 1 and then I'll mute 2 so you can hear the differences. All right, here we go. See how low that signal is right there? Both of these guys are nice and strong, but this one still is not quite as strong as that. You can see this peaks at minus 16.7, this peaks at minus 17.9. Okay, now that's output 1 all by itself. That's output 2 all by itself. And there they are back together again. Again, output 1, output 2. And both outputs together. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty obvious that output 2 is definitely weaker than output 1. So we found out that even though the Tone Master Pro's mixer says that we are sending out exactly the same level on both outputs, that is not the case. Output 1 is balanced and sends out a stronger signal. Output 2 is unbalanced and sends out a slightly weaker signal. Does that make the Tone Master Pro defective in any way? Of course not. No. So is this a problem that really needs a solution? Well, I can think of 2 ways to handle it. Number 1, turn up your onstage amp if necessary. Number 2, go into the mixer for the Tone Master Pro and click the blue master above output 1. That way you can send a stationary signal to the front of house, and now you can use the master volume control to turn up output 2 as much as you'd like. Hold on there, we've got an update. Yesterday, Jason Stillwell posted this. Okay, I got some clarity on this from the engineering team. There is a difference between output 1 and 2 levels on purpose. Output 1, 2 XLR and 1/4-inch line outs. Output 2, stereo 1/4-inch amp outs. Output 1 line outs are meant to go to mixer or interface for recording. The 1/4-inch balanced outputs are literally in parallel with the XLR outputs. Output 2 amp outs are slightly lower signal, potentially appropriate for going into an amp input. Again, there's no wrong way to connect these, but the 2 outputs are not exactly the same. So if you're hearing a level difference between them, there's nothing wrong with your Tone Master Pro. It's done on purpose to allow more flexibility in how you're able to connect to external devices. And then lower, he says output 1 is TRS balanced. Output 2 is balanced impedance, but is driven single-ended, meaning you can use a standard guitar cable. We'll update the manual with this info. Thanks all, and I'm going to tag this thread as resolved if you're satisfied with the answer. So that's it, guys. Now next Wednesday, I'll have all new content. You do not want to miss that. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. All right, guys, have an absolutely fantastic weekend, and I'll be talking with you again next week.